The views and opinions expressed by the On the Spot with David Rodgers show are solely based on the show's hosts, guests, and viewers. We are solely responsible for all show content in its entirety and does not necessarily reflect the opinions of any sponsors in any way. These broadcasts are presented and made public by the On the Spot with David Rodgers team in the hope that it will be entertaining and informative to our viewers and listening audience.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it's 7 o'clock and time for On the Spot with David Rodgers. And now, here he is, Mr. Friday Night, the show pony himself, the man, the dream, the legendary David Rodgers.
Good evening, folks, and welcome to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am the show pony himself, David Rodgers, alongside the Byron Bagwell and Michael Funtastic Heater. And joining us behind the camera is our very own Mitchell Gunner, filling in for Dave, the Dancing Destroyer Holland tonight. Great to have you along. Tonight's show is sponsored by Miracle Automotive and Towing. When you need automotive help, don't pray for a miracle, Byron. You call Miracle. And by Mitchell Gunner Racing. Be sure to follow Mitchell's latest exploits and all things motorsports on our sister show, On the Spot Motorsports, with David Rodgers, starring your host, Mitchell Gunter. Let's get the show started as we always do with prayer, our pledge, and our patriotic quote of the night. Let us bow our heads, please, ladies and gentlemen. Our righteous Heavenly Father, let us once thank again for a wonderful and glorious and beautiful day you've given us today, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us have this time to do our show, dear Lord, as the Brotherhood has gotten together here, dear Lord, and we are trying to just bring the information to our viewers and let our viewers decide what they do with that information, dear Lord. Thank you for letting us live in the wonderfulest country and the greatest country in the world today, the United States of America. I know we have our own issues and our own problems, but with your lending and guiding hand, we can sure fix these problems. Thank you for our military, the past and the present ones, dear Lord, as they're out there protecting and serving and making sure that we don't fall to international and domestic terrorism and anything else, dear Lord, that wants to harm this great nation. Thank you for our first responders, each and every one of those young men and women, dear Lord, out there on the fronts, making sure that we can sleep at night and rest our head comfortably and not worrying about a thing because they are watching over us. Also, thank you to our frontline people. That's our truck drivers, our farmers, our railroad workers, anybody that is trying to make America great again, dear Lord, that you bless each and every one of those people as they're working hard to keep America flowing and to keep America running, dear Lord. Thank you for all those people. Any spoken or unspoken prayer requests, dear Lord, please touch each and every one of them. You're the ultimate healer. You're the ultimate comforter, dear Lord. You can make things easier for these people, dear Lord. Again, thank you for this night. Thank you for this show. Thank you for the great week we're about to have. And we ask for these things in your precious Son's name, Jesus Christ. And the congregation says, Amen. Amen. Let us stand for our pledge. And I'm going to ask Mr. Byron Bagwell if he'd lead us.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Amen. Again, thank you and welcome into the show. My name is David Rodgers, right alongside the Byron Bagwell. Hidden behind there, behind the cameras and all that good stuff, is the host of On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, Mr. Mitchell Gunner. Mm-hmm. He is acting as producer tonight in place of Mr. Dave Holland, the Dancing Destroyer, because he can't dance right now. Yeah. He had some hip surgery, recovering from that. Dave, we wish you well. Get better so you can come back and do your job here on the show. Tonight, in the studio tonight, we've got Mr. Austin Stevens, our weather guru. He's here with us tonight. Also, our YouTube guy downloads our show after this to YouTube so you guys can watch it by Wednesday nights, Byron, at 7 o'clock. How about that, huh?
Absolutely.
By the way,
5 o'clock in the morning, getting it ready to rumble.
There you go. Austin doing a great job for us, as he always does. And to my right here He is running for city commissioner as well. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. He is our director. He is Mr. Michael Fantastic Heater. Say hello, Mike.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I got some breaking news coming along those lines as well. We can talk about that in a little bit.
All right, and we got a special guest tonight.
Was it Elon Musk? No, okay.
No, it wasn't Elon Musk. But tonight we do have somebody that is kin to Elon Musk.
Really?
He's in the house tonight, and that's Mr. Tom Germano.
Really?
Yeah,
Yes.
kin to Elon Musk.
Yes.
We'll talk about that as we bring him on.
Okay, that sounds good.
We'll find out if that's the truth.
I just want a job, that's all.
I just want a job? Okay.
And
Well, we'll talk to him about
getting
that.
ones. I just want a decent one.
Okay.
A decent one. I'm not asking for CEO or...
Okay, I got you.
Yeah.
But how about you right now, as we were stumbling and mumbling? Hey, how about the patriotic quote of the night?
Okay.
All right.
There's two of them.
Oh,
Michael Heater's not allowed to answer this.
oh, why is Mike? Can I ask why Michael Heater is not allowed? Because I did not get the memo.
Because Michael Heater sent me two quotes today
What?
that I thought were
And you didn't include the boss?
really good.
No, because I'd like to see the boss prove everyone just how smart you are.
Well, I've been getting about 80% of them right. Can I get this one?
If you know your history, you will.
Okay.
I highly doubt that because I'm going to squash
Oh,
two answers right off the bat after I give these two quotes.
okay.
History fails to record a single precedent in which nations subject to moral decay have not passed into political, economic decline. There has been either a spiritual awakening to overcome the moral lapse or a progressive deterioration leading to the ultimate national disaster. That's the first one.
Okay.
And the second one is no man is entitled to the blessing of freedom unless he be vigilant in its preservation. Now, I will give everybody this.
Okay.
Both of those quotes actually are very close. They echo the sentiment of not only John Adams, but Samuel Adams.
Okay.
And it sounds very much to me like this gentleman, who is a very famous American,
Okay.
actually was very deep into reading the writings of both of those guys, those founding fathers.
Okay. Now, can I ask, both of those quotes, is it by the same guy?
It is the same person.
It is the same person. All right, Mitchell, I'll let you start.
I will give you another hint.
Okay.
This gentleman was from our greatest generation.
Okay.
From our generation.
No,
The greatest.
The
The
greatest.
greatest
generation.
generation.
Not the baby boomers. Or the baby boomers. It is
Right.
baby boomers. Yeah. Yeah. No. Sort of.
Sort of.
Sort of.
Okay. Michael can't answer because he gave it.
I can't. I know it.
Who you got?
Around the baby boomers, you say? So that would be.
I'm going to get David and I'm going to pick on him about this one.
Okay. I'm just waiting
gonna
for
say-
Mitchell. Hey, by the way, while Mitchell's thinking, he's
Kennedy?
thinking, who?
Kennedy?
No.
Okay.
It is not Kennedy.
Okay. Tom, you got a guess?
I'm going to guess Ronald Reagan.
Oh, that's a great guess, but no, it wasn't Reagan.
Okay.
His generation, but not
Yeah.
Reagan.
Okay.
I am going to say,
His generation too. A little bit young. This guy's a little bit older than Kennedy.
I'm going to say, is it a general? You can't say or deny that.
Confirm nor deny
Deny
that.
that.
You
Okay.
gotta have some of that plausible deniability.
I'm gonna say that was General Douglas MacArthur.
Somebody knows MacArthur.
That is exactly who it is.
Wow.
Gerald Douglas McCarthy.
That's very good.
That must have been a
And
trivia
80
question.
80
81% now? Is that it? I didn't get no
He did
clue
not
from
get
no
one.
one.
I smell some shenanigans.
No, you don't. He didn't say anything to me.
I-
He kept quiet. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know he had sent it to you.
I'm
That's
stunned
what-
by that because he had no idea. And to be honest, I was expecting you to say Patton.
Was you?
So I was expecting
Patton has
Well, let's see what. Let's see.
I love George Patton's puppets.
I do.
But they are not
That would be that.
appropriate for
Yeah,
this.
well, that's true too.
And honestly, if you wouldn't have gave those, and let me be honest, if you wouldn't have gave those guesses and took the founding fathers and everything out of it, and when you said the generation, I would have never. I'll be honest, I would have never got it.
John-
Because I probably would have said Patton or somebody like that.
The first one John Adams talks about when he talks
Yeah.
about the Constitution and what basically without a moral population the Constitution is not fit
Right.
for us.
True.
And then the other one, Sam Adams, that is very similar to a quote that I've used multiple
times, yeah.
on this show that talks about defending freedom.
Yeah,
You're exactly right.
there you go. Very
All
good.
right.
I am impressed.
Hey, sorry, man. Hey, if you wouldn't have gave all those hints, I'm gonna be honest with you, I would have never guessed that.
I'm impressed.
I was trying to remember the themes of MacArthur Park.
Hey, but you didn't have to go that far.
I know, but he would have known it. He'd probably been the only one in the room that known it was
Right.
me, but
Well, maybe Tom.
Tom,
Yeah, Tom probably would.
Tom
All
probably.
right, here we go. Nice one, man. Yeah, we almost got us. Hey, don't go anywhere because here comes the round table. This is the round table. We go around the region and around the table with the latest news and notes. Brought to you by Harry Business in the Deerfoot Plaza, home of the $10 haircut. Call Dave and Company at 904-964-3338. We begin with breaking news in Bradford County as paramedics and firefighters from Bradford County responded to a snake bite this evening on Northwest 219th Street. The patient, in her 80s, guys, was taken by helicopter to a Gainesville hospital. The large rattlesnake was neutralized at the scene and no other injuries were reported.
Hey, over to Alachua County, where members of the Alachua County Democratic Party are proceeding with caution after their Gainesville office was vandalized over the weekend. It happened around 10 p.m. Saturday night when someone threw pieces of concrete through two front windows at the 901 Professional Building Center on Northwest 8th Avenue. There were no injuries reported.
I promise I wasn't there.
Play stupid games with
We're not sure about everybody, but
Yeah, that works
Yeah.
both ways, by the way. You don't vandalize somebody's office, of course.
Right.
But, yeah.
moving
All right,
on.
well, how about moving right along there, B?
Yeah.
You want to read that one?
Southside Elementary School, as part of a social emotional learning program, will incorporate the In Focus curriculum into school this year. Thanks to the Hayden Hurst Foundation, In Focus consists of presenting a 10-minute daily lesson that addresses the root causes of violence, bullying, drug use, and disruptive classroom behavior.
The Hayden Hurst Family Foundation provides support to schools and veterans in the area of mental health, which is important to the foundation's namesake, Hayden Hurst, who plays tight end with the NFL Cincinnati Bengals. Right. Hurst's parents, Jerry and Kathy, have been Bradford County residents, Byron and Mike and everybody for nearly 10 years.
That's right.
That's great.
Hey, the Bradford County Sheriff's Office is mourning the loss of one of their own. Explorer Lacey Laycock, age 16, died over the weekend from complications of an extended illness. Now, anyone who wishes to help with funeral expenses can donate at the GoFundMe link that was posted on the On the Spot Facebook page earlier today.
Mitchell, do you want to get in on this a little bit and tell some people what is going on, what y'all are working on and everything?
Sure.
Appreciate
also, if anybody wants to make donations, as you can see down on the lower third, they can contribute money to that funeral home. Mm-hmm. And also, I am going to work with our very own Sheriff Gordon Smith on doing a car show right here at the Sheriff's office, using the parking lot here and around the courthouse to do that to help raise funds for the family.
Outstanding, Mitchell, and the sheriff and Michael and everybody that's involved with this thing. That young lady went way too early. And we're going to pray for her and the family, and she will not be forgotten. We can assure you of that.
Exactly. Reminder that we are less than 2 days away from the new Aldi's opening August 11th in the Deerfoot Shopping Center.
right.
The store opens at 9 a.m. with prizes for the first 100 customers who will receive a gift bag filled with samplings of Aldi's favorite fan products and a gift card from Aldi's Golden Ticket gift card giveaway program.
And guess what? And the new store manager of the Aldi's is Byron Bagwell. How about that? You're the new store manager, Byron. You know who said so?
Who?
We all did.
I'll take it. I'll take it. I mean, that's got to be at least $70,000 or $80,000 a year. Yes.
Okay, well, here, as previously reported, Aldi's on track to open 150 new stores and become the third largest U.S. grocery retailers by store count by the end of this year, which is amazing, Mike.
It is indeed.
Oh, wow. The ribbon cutting ceremony will take place at 8:30 this Thursday in the Deerfoot Plaza next to Tractor Supply, and we'll see your smiling face there.
Yes, you will.
All right.
And finally, a new study published this morning in the Journal of the American Heart Association adds to the growing body of evidence supporting sleep's importance to good health. Sleeping too much or too little, or having poor sleep patterns, appears to increase the risk for cardiovascular disease in older adults, new research has been showing. Now, prior research has shown poor sleep may put people at a higher risk for a range of chronic illnesses and conditions, including cardiovascular disease, dementia,
pusillanimous,
Gesundheit,
Yeah.
diabetes, high blood pressure, and obesity. Now, according to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, nearly 35% of adults say they get less than 7 hours of sleep per night. The American Heart Association and other physicians say adults should average between 7 and 9 hours of sleep each evening.
Wow. Well, that puts me out.
Yeah, there we go.
And now, here's your weather forecast given by our very own in studio, in the house tonight, is our very own Austin Stevens. Welcome in, Austin.
Thank you. Well, forecasting is my expertise, but sleeping, I think, is not my expertise, because during hurricanes, when they come near us within 200 miles, I am not sleeping for at least 36 hours per round. All right, well, speaking of hurricanes, they're staying at bay. We only have a 30% over the next 5 days over our nice little blob out in the eastern Atlantic, and that is going to go into the graveyard near Bermuda. Locally here, we are going to have highs in the mid-90s tomorrow with heat index values up to 108. But cooler weather is on the way for this weekend with upper 80s by Saturday and mid-80s to upper 80s on Sunday. At night on the Swanee River Valley, we could dip into the upper 60s with our first ever cool front. I don't even want to confirm it as a cold front yet, but it's going to bring rain from Mitchell, unfortunately. 60 to 70% across the region, but things will clear out with 30% levels by Wednesday of next week. Back to you, David. We'll be watching the tropics as tropics are going to pick up.
All right, and that was my question to you, Austin and Michael, and I'm sure y'all will get into it. What is the tropics like? Somebody just asked me that. What are we looking at? Nothing out there right now? We're good?
We have one disturbance.
Okay.
30% for the next 5 days. 20% now. It did go up to a 40%. Austin Western's Hurricane Center group will be updated at 8 p.m. We update every 36 hours when there's a tropical disturbance. And we'll be keeping things posted and updated. And we have a dedicated now computer to run graphics, the show, the whole 9 yards. So we're ready for the hurricane season, whatever Mother Nature throws at us.
All right, thank you very much, Austin. You can go to Austin's Weather Service to catch that exact weather forecast. Just hit Austin's Weather Service, hit the like button, and bing, here you go. You'll get your instant weather report. All right, I got to ask you, am I doing trivia on Wednesday, or are we not?
We took a vote.
And the vote is
no. is everyone said they were going to join me on vacation in Hollywood, Florida. No, we're canceling trivia for Wednesday night team trivia at Fun Point because a lot of the teams had already planned on not being there. We were only going to have 3 teams.
Oh, no.
So I'm going to be on. I am playing the role of my favorite superhero starting as soon as this show ends. I will be Captain Vacation for the next week or so, headed down to South Florida. So there is no trivia this Wednesday night, but we will be back at it a week from tomorrow, 7 p.m. at Fun Point for the best trivia anywhere
on Wednesday nights.
And there you go.
And here we go. But Thursday night team trivia is still going. So any of those teams that didn't go to Wednesday night, if they want to come to Thursday night, 7:30 at the Downtown Grill. Hey, the best trivia on
Thursday nights.
Hey, right here with me, we got a couple of new categories. Mike, as a matter of fact, you need to send me the swip swap.
Oh, I will.
Yeah, just which one you get down south whenever you're there now.
I got one for you.
All right, but we do have the answer is category, and of course that comes in round number 4. And Mitchell, you're getting ready to do that. Do you know what Thursday's answer is?
I do.
Do you know why I picked that?
I do.
Let's see. Would it
One of the most beautiful women I've ever known.
Oh, I thought it was Jerry Nadler.
Oh boy, Mitchell. Michael, over to you.
Well, I mean, he's
over to you, Mike.
He's the head of the Judiciary Committee,
So,
and that's the perfect description of what's going on right now. Sorry.
I said a beautiful woman.
That's why I said it can't be Jerry Nadler.
No, it can't be.
I was gonna say we gotta. You need glasses.
Not to see Jonathan. Never mind.
This Thursday night, in honor of the passing of an iconic woman in entertainment, the Thursday night trivia answer at the Downtown Grill is...
There it is coming up there. Say it, Byron.
It is...
Grease.
Is the
That's
word.
right. Is the word, man.
That's exactly right.
She's another one, Tom and guys, that went a little too early, too. 71?
73.
73.
Great singer.
Oh, yeah.
Great singing career. And
actress,
she's
too.
a great actress.
Yeah.
So here's the thing about it. She passed away in her sleep, surrounded by family at the age of 73. However, she had battled breast cancer. And that is a significant medical condition that affects a lot of people, especially close to home. My wife, battling breast cancer.
My wife has too.
She's in full remission, and I'm very happy to have her around for a very long time to come. But if you are at risk or you have a family history of breast cancer or any type of cancers, don't put it off. Go to your physician, speak to them about it, get checked, get tested, and make sure that you catch it early. And it's not just about breast cancer for women. There's all different cancers all over the place. Make sure that you get checked so that you can live a long and healthy life.
And that's exactly right. And make sure all you women get your breasts checked. Hey, go and get your mammogram, whatever it is, done, because hey, you never know. That's what happened to Shelley. Never knew it until she went. I don't know about Lisa's. We never really talked about that. So she went to the doctors and he felt a lump right there. And then that just started, the ball rolling. So, but she's in remission, and so is Lisa, and we're glad of that.
Exactly.
And just because you're a man does not mean that you cannot get breast
And
cancer.
that's a fact, Jack.
That's right. So I'll throw something in here. 2 years ago, I went and got checked because I had something that was hurting, and I went and got a mammogram as well. And thank goodness it was negative, and I actually have a friend that the same thing happened to. His was negative as well.
Well, that's awesome.
But it was scary.
No, it doesn't happen as often, but it does happen.
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
It's always scary when you think.
There you go.
You got that right. And now, everyone's favorite segment that brings back a little history, brought to you by our great media partners. WEAG Eagle Country 106.3 FM. Chuck and Mary Kramer and Lynn Bellis, our bosses now on Friday nights as Tornado Football gets ready to roll. Hey, looking for a great season. And by the Bradford County Telegraph celebrating his 143rd birthday today. John Miller, John Ryan Tillman, Mark Crawford, and of course, the birthday boy.
Well, that was last week, but we can still say hi to him.
Yeah, say hello, birthday boy himself, Mr. Cliff Smelly. Here's what's the date. These are the headlines, from the Bradford Telegraph during the second week of August in what year? Oh boy, Comcast bringing high-speed internet to Stark. 2 shot during Stark robbery. Staffing complicates electric response. Was that August of 2017, August of 2018, or August of 2019? Mitchell, that's the second week we're talking about. 2017, 2018, or 2019? Comcast brings high-speed internet to Stark. 2 shot during Stark robbery. Staffing complicates electric response. Second week of August of 2017, 2018, or 2019? Got a little bit to go. I'll read the first one. Mike, you read the second one, and Brian, you read the third one. A Comcast business account executive told Bradford County commissioners that their company will bring high-speed internet to our beautiful city of Stark.
There you go. Stark police said that 2 people were shot during an armed robbery at a Walnut Street adult arcade business. The 2 men survived their injuries. I can say that I was one of the responders on there. Although both received very serious injuries, they both did survive.
Wow.
A squirrel knocked out power in the city, but a subsequent issue within the substation resulted in a power outage that lasted for several hours and was resolved after a specialist was brought in by city manager Bob Miller.
Boy, that should give it away right there. Comcast bring high-speed internet to start. 2 shot during start robbery. Staffing complicates electric response. Second week of August 2017. Second week of 2018. Mitchell smiling. Second week of 2019. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to check the comments and read comments off, but we've also got a drawing for last month's winner. Didn't have a lot there at the beginning. Started to pick up there toward the end. So Michael's got several in there.
Yeah, we do.
And we'll go ahead and do that drawing now as we're waiting for people to come in.
Okay. Yep.
All right, yeah. And I'm going to read them off, Mitchell, as we go. I've got them right here, but I appreciate that. So here we go. All right. And, whoa, a new winner. Would you like to read this one?
Sure.
First of all, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Donnie. Happy birthday to you.
Enjoy that stay.
Oh, well then you read it. It is Dad, isn't it?
Don
Yay!
Bagwell.
How about that? $25 gift card to the Downtown Grill.
Unfortunately, him and Mom are not watching tonight.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Well, you'll have to tell Mom that she'll have to go back and watch the show because there was a very special rendition of you and Mike singing that birthday. I wasn't involved.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go.
That's good.
Oh, goodness. So, here we go. All right. Christopher Davis, Gail Allen, Roy Jackson's watching. Renee Stigall-Shaw joining us. She said, hello, look who's here. Robert McGee, good evening.
Oh,
Elizabeth.
hey, hold on a second.
Okay, Mr. McGee.
Robert McGee,
Yes.
can I take a moment to say
Yeah.
thank you?
Oh.
Robert McGee stepped up and assisted in the reception and placement of what will be the largest Christmas tree in the city's history. It was delivered this week. Robert coordinated the delivery, is getting and will help with getting everything taken care of. And on behalf of the city clerk's office and Lisa and everything like that one, thank you for stepping in and helping out when you were needed to get that taken care of. So we appreciate that one. It's going to be an amazing thing. We've got some things really happening for Christmas on Call Street. You're going to be really excited about it. The Christmas tree, the largest one in city's history. It's going to be amazing.
Robert McGee, thank you so very much from On the Spot with David Rodgers show and all of us. Thank you for stepping out there and doing that. We all know Robert. Robert's a great guy.
Absolutely.
Elizabeth Laycock is on. She said, hello, guys. Melba Johnson's on. Jennifer Luke. Billy Rayberg is on. I hope Mitchell and Tom, for your sake, he took his meds.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Renee Stigall-Shaw said there's an Aldi's opening in Ocean Springs, Mississippi. Not sure the date, but it's most welcome to the community. Me and Renee went to school together. We graduated together. As a matter of fact, our reunion's coming up, and I'll talk about that as that comes up. But we both graduated from Pascagoula High School. And, of course, we're very familiar with Ocean Springs. Absolutely. Elizabeth Laycock said, thank you guys so much. You don't even know how much it means to us to be able to lay this young lady to rest. And our prayers and thought are with you guys and your family. And we're going to do everything with the On the Spot with David Rodgers show, the Fantastic Fire Brigade, Mitchell Gunner Racing. We'll maybe try to do something WAG. Yeah. I know Tom's listening as well. We're all going to try to pitch in and help this young lady. This young lady went way too early, but she is on the right-hand side of God, and she is being comforted by the man himself, the most perfect person I've ever known.
Absolutely.
So there you go. Liz Tillery Holland's watching. Hello, gentlemen. We love you all, and we love you. The boss lady's watching. Boss lady, what's going on? Olivia Newton-John. Poppy Molesky said, gone too soon, R.I.P. All right, here we go with some guesses, Big Michael.
Boy, boy.
Liz Tillery Holland said 2019.
Ooh, hold on.
Okay, hold on. Hold your thought there. Hold the thought.
Yeah, let me get the old laptop fired up here like that one.
Okay, 2019. Roy Jackson, 2019. Rady Brooks, 2019. Melanie Evans, 2017.
7.
On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ready? Hello, Alvy!
By the way, just so you know, and you guys can just listen in. This actually is for these guys, but you can listen on like that one.
There you go.
Got a note from Tammy.
Yes.
Was some medical concerns.
Uh-huh.
We had originally scheduled for a little birthday visit for
Yeah.
Alvy.
Yeah.
That was canceled.
Okay.
She texted me tonight, so Tammy, I got your message.
Okay.
And we have it scheduled. I believe she says it's going to be Saturday the 20th or something like that, I believe.
Okay.
I believe
That'll be after we do our preseason kickoff classes, so hopefully we'll come there with a Bradford win.
Yes.
That's right.
Too, you know.
So
That's
yes,
right.
so we're excited about that. We got so yes,
Okay.
we are gonna once to see the fantastic fire engine. We're gonna take the fire truck out there. We'd love to do that.
Yeah,
as
we'll
well.
all
So
be out there
we're
for
excited
sure.
for Alvy's birthday.
Alvy, yeah. Tammy Testone says 2017. Dave Holland, the Dancing Destroyer, said 2018. Janet Royal is watching, and Alice Thornton is watching. And that's all I've got right now as far as guesses. Do you have anything different, Mr. Byron Bagwell?
Let me see if
And
I can
Michael
refresh
is
it.
working this thing here, so we don't have any more. Mom's not going to be able to because she's not watching the show. Renee Stegall, do you have a guess? I don't see. Rayberg, do you have a guess? Yeah, Rayberg probably say, 30-42 or some mess. You know, he's not- So anyway, all right. Well, that's all the guesses right now. So we'll go around the table.
I think you just something just popped up.
Oh, something just popped up.
Did you get
Yes,
that?
you're correct. Saturday the 20th, Mike.
We're ready for him.
And by the way, this is great. Tammy Testone is a milestone follower. So is Randy Brooks. So is Roy Jackson's a top fan +1.
There we go.
How about that? Little different things that come up I wanted to show you. Renee Stegall Shaw's a top fan. And what I wanted to show you was Robert McGee is an anniversary follower.
Yep.
How about that? So we got little different things there as we're going through, and I'll try to remind myself of that, but you are correct.
Yeah.
Saturday the 20th. All right, here we go. 17, 18, or 19, B?
I think that was 18.
Okay. Mitchell?
2019.
Very confident in that answer. Tom?
Gosh. I'm going to say 2018.
Okay. Austin?
2019.
Okay. Mom?
You don't know.
17, 18, or 19? Just give me something. 19. Michael? Pass.
How's that?
Pass.
Pass.
All right. I'm going to go 2019. I think it was 2019. All right.
Elizabeth.
Elizabeth.
2019?
Yeah, she says 19.
19. Okay.
Yep. So 2019 for her. Make sure you get her.
All right, we got it.
All right. I think we got everybody now. And the answer is wait for it. And
Listen to this guy.
2018.
18, that's
How
right,
about that?
2018. Yes,
So
indeed.
everybody that got 2018, you're in. Dave Holland is not in.
He's not in.
Because he is part of the show. But Michael, I'm trying to go back.
Wait, hold up.
Yeah?
I think I just won this.
What do you mean?
That's my first name, too.
When did you become Don Bagwell?
That's what I used to go by.
Really?
Yeah. When I was in high school, they called me Donnie.
Okay. Well,
They
how
used to
about
call me Don.
you know what they call you now?
Let me see this.
Man bun.
Hold on. Let me see
All
this
right.
quick here.
Oh, man bun.
If last time I checked, there's no junior on the end of this.
It's not Junior anyway. His name is Donald Berry, and my name is Donald Byron.
Junior.
Yeah. Junior.
Junior.
All right. 2018 is the guess. You get your name put in for the drawing. We say at the end of the month, but it's not really. We really
we
wait
roll
Michael
around
to
in
the
September.
first week, somewhere in there in September.
Yeah. So,
All right.
I say we take a break.
I say we do too,
Because we got a
because
special
we've
guest
got
coming.
a special guest coming up, and he's going to join us in just a couple of minutes. We'll be right back with our special guest right after this commercial break. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Spot with David Rodgers. I am your host, David Rodgers, a.k.a. the Show Pony, the Equalizer, and one of the members of the new high priest,
Of the
Church of the Painful Truth. That's just the bottom line. Thank you.
Neil Boards.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Neil Boards. All right, D. Byron Bagwell, new color commentator for the Bradford Tornadoes, co-host of On the Spot with David Rodgers, and a.k.a. Man Bun.
No.
Junior.
No, Junior, okay.
I'll take Junior.
Hey, behind the scenes, he is the racing guru. He is the man behind the wheel. He is behind the wheel tonight. He has his own podcast called On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers. He is the host of that each and every week. Always got great guests. Who is it, Byron?
That would be the one and only Mr. Mitchell Gunner.
Say hello, Mitchell, to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
All right, and right beside Mitchell, Dave Holland, the Dancing Destroyer. Good grief. And then right beside him is our weather guy, has Austin Stevens Weather Service. He is our very own Austin, the $6 million man Stevens.
I wish I had $6 million.
Yeah.
Come on now.
How about that, huh?
This inflation's killing
yeah.
me.
There you go, $6 million worth. Over to my right, inflation. What can he use inflation?
Killing me.
Oh my God,
That's good.
Yeah, and to my right, and to my right, he is our director of our show, co-hosting also with us. He is Michael, the Fantastic Heater. Why do we say that? Because he owns the Fantastic Fire Brigade. Also running for City Commissioner in District Uno. He will be joining us here in a few minutes after our very special guest. Look at him right here.
Yep.
This handsome guy right here just brings beauty to the screen right here. Byron, thank goodness he's here. He is Mr. Tom Germano. Tom,
Thank you.
Say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody, and I appreciate you recognizing the
looks?
that the makeup did such a good job out there in the hallway.
Well, that's not what Mitchell said. Mitchell said, man, you've always had those looks. So there you go.
I don't think so.
But anyway, Tom, welcome in.
Thank you.
We know you're running for office, and we'll get to that in just a second.
That's fine.
But I want to, we always open up with candidates that maybe hadn't been on the show or may not, people may not know you. Introduce yourself and give a little bit of background about yourself.
Okay, sure. I am... I've been in the lake area since probably about 1961. My family had a cabin on Little Lake Santa Fe. Was not raised here, but that was our summer cabin, summer home when school would get out. Used to be back at Memorial Day, school would get out, and we would stay the entire summer here. No television, no air. Well, actually, we had an air conditioner. My dad would just never turn it on. And but we did have,
my dad.
yeah. So we did have a lot of fans and things like that. So we'd stay here the whole summer, and we had a one-bedroom little cabin, and it slept 2 adults and about 10 kids because with 5 kids in our family, everybody had to bring a friend with them. So and I have some friends watching that have all spent a lot of time.
Absolutely,
down here. Yeah. So. My wife and I were fortunate enough to buy the house right next door to what was my parents in 2004, and we moved here permanently, which means we sold our house in Jacksonville in about 2018, early 2018. But we spent a tremendous amount of time here before that. So I was originally from Jacksonville, and just so I was so thrilled to be able to move. It was a lifelong dream to move to this area and to the lake house, and it was just an amazing place to be. I loved it here. I wanted to move here, and even better, my wife agreed to move here, and she loves it because it could have been a rough few years if she didn't love it, but she loves it a lot.
Tom, Byron's been here all his life. Mitchell has pretty much as well. Me, you, and Michael call us a little transplants, but we've been around here long enough. It's something about this place, man, that just anchors you in.
It really
you
is.
know, I've heard Sheriff Gordon Smith say this. It's something to do in the soil. When you step in the soil, it's like you just get planted here and just don't want to go anywhere. And I tell you, I've had Renee and a lot of my people that are grad. Why don't you come back to school and do this stuff over here? Because this is my home now.
Right.
You know, I've been here so long now. I've made so many connections, so many friends. You know, we all go through our trials and tribulations, of course. But at the end of the day, this is my home. This is our home. And unless just something, Byron or Tom, really comes out of the woodwork, I'm not leaving here.
Yeah.
This is it. This is it for me. You know, especially at 60 years old now, you know, it's hard to uproot your roots and go to somewhere new. And like me and you talked, I've had a couple of opportunities. Those opportunities would have came. You know, I may have had to done that because you know, money does talk. Money does talk. But as far as anything else, nah, I'm right here. I like what we do. I like our show. I like everybody here, and it is what it is. And you're exactly right, Tom.
Yes.
You know, you got the comforts of the city and the comforts of country all in the same. And you there's not too many places that you can do that at. Really.
No, we don't really lack for anything here. I mean, we've got everything we need,
right?
And including the lakes and
yes, oh man,
all that. So,
all right. Again, Tom Germano for Bradford County Commissioner, District 4. And I know there's a couple of people running against you, and we'll get to that here in just a minute. But I have a question for you that was brought up to me by one of our viewers, texted me on Messenger personally. And by the way, before I get to that question, if you ever want to get a hold of anybody on the show, you can actually go to On the Spot 32091 at gmail.com, and you can leave your message for Byron. You can leave it for Mitchell. You can leave it for Michael, for Dave, for Austin, for myself. All you got to do is personalize it. Michael checks that thing every day to make sure, and that's how he gets the messages right before the show, because he does check that. So you can hit us on the spot 32091 at gmail.com, or all of us are very open. You can hit Byron on Messenger or Facebook. You can hit Mitchell on Messenger, Facebook. Austin on his page and through Austin's Weather Service. Michael through On the Spot, also his Facebook page, Messenger, and the Fantastic Fire Brigade. He will answer any of those. And, of course, myself on Facebook, any of the show pages, and, of course, that Gmail address. So I do have a question that was brought up to me, and that was, why are you running for our County Commissioner, District 4? What's your personal, interest in it? And also, right behind that, and I'm just going to lead you right into it, they asked me about the fire station. So I'll let you...
Wow, okay.
That was right off. And I knew that was going to be a big topic. Okay. But question number one first.
So that's too good. They kind of lead into each other, too. So, but first, I didn't get a chance to thank you guys for letting me
absolutely.
go on. It's been really fun watching you, and you got a tremendous amount of energy. And to see all the magic that goes on behind the scenes, like I said earlier, it's like taking a tour of Disney behind the stage at Disney or something.
Well, we appreciate that, Tom, and it takes all of us.
Yeah.
It's the whole group thing, and we really appreciate that.
Yeah. So the first question: why am I running for county commissioner? So I ran in 2014. Obviously, didn't win it. I think then I ran for the right reasons that I had at the time, and they were essentially around my fear, which I still have today, of a phosphate mine, a possible phosphate mine on the county, and then some other things that I just didn't feel like were going right. So I was perhaps a little naive because I had not lived here long enough to really get involved in the community, although I went to all the commission meetings, but there's still more, getting to know people and stuff. So I've spent the last 4 years really absorbing everything, trying to absorb everything that goes on in the community. I've probably been to many more commission meetings than I've ever missed. As a matter of fact, I wish I would have kept track just so I could tell you honestly how many I've been. But I rarely miss them. I noticed that when I first started going, there was always a nice sized crowd there. It wasn't ever just packed unless there was a big issue. Then it would be packed. But as time has gone on here, it's just dwindled and dwindled and dwindled. And a couple of weeks ago, my wife and I were the only ones at a commission meeting. So,
that is something.
And my feeling is that people feel like they don't have a voice, and I think that's part of the reason that they don't come to the meetings. And I want people to have a voice, and not just through me, but I want people to be able to participate in our commission meetings. How that happens, they have rules, they have certain things, and that you have to follow, and I understand that. Otherwise, they could go on all night. But I want people to feel like they have a voice, even if it's through me. So that was one reason, because I had people tell me they felt like they were ignored, and not by any specific person, just ignored. And so the other big reason is I saw some things that I thought shouldn't be happening in this county, and I saw some waste that will lead us to the fire station, some waste that has gone on, and I really think that that's a shame. They talk about, and if you have other candidates on, they'll tell you, oh my gosh, we got to fix the budget. We've got to fix the budget. The budget's not that bad, and they say we overspend. Well, the great example of overspending is the fire station. And not really overspending, that's just a waste.
Right.
Okay? Right now.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure that we do overspend. The commissioners keep asking the departments to cut their budgets. And they do. When you cut and cut and cut, I mean, eventually you're going to reach that cap where you're over budget. And budget cuts don't equal revenue.
Right, that's a great point.
So that does not equal revenue. We don't have enough revenue coming in to the county, and those are some of the things that I feel like that's kind of the keys to why I'm running. And I don't want to neglect mentioning I'm still very nervous, and a lot of people are, about the possibility of having a phosphate mine in the county, and I'm so against that, and will pledge to anyone that I will never support a phosphate mine coming here. So that's kind of it. But you want to talk specifically about the fire station, or?
They just said in general,
So,
what the fire station, where are we at, and what are you looking to do, and some things. Even if you don't get elected, what do you see happening?
Okay, well, first of all, we call it a fire station. It's not really. It's a warehouse.
Right.
And I'm surprised Mitchell didn't correct me, because he's big on that as well. So
it makes my blood boil.
Oh, it does.
Every time I hear that.
So it is a warehouse. I'd love it to be a fire station. I'm sure everyone would, but it's not. And the reason why it is not is because it's failed its inspection. And even the state inspector said this is nothing more than a warehouse. I didn't make up that term. Mitchell didn't make up that term. But that's what it boils down to. So the reason why is, number one, it doesn't have sleeping quarters. Number two, there's no drains in there to clean the equipment, for things to drip off the fire truck to go anywhere. There's no the septic tank is too small. There's no sprinklers in the fire station. I could go on. I'm not going to list them all. Everybody can read it. Go ahead. Yeah, I know there's no sprinklers. I don't know. I can't answer why there are not. Now, I will tell you that what you'll hear some people say that, well, it was. And let's not forget that the fire station was supposed to cost around $300,000. They bumped it up to about $600,000, but the final price, according to Bradford Telegraph, was $941,000.
That's right.
So that's a little bit over budget.
Okay. But I'm sorry, Tom.
No, go ahead.
See, this is why we need candidates that will talk about this, because you're telling me that you can't put a sprinkler system and a right-sized septic tank in and drains.
Well, they'll
in a building that size for $900,000.
Right. Well, what they'll tell you, yeah, I agree with you. I don't know why they're not there, but people will tell you that, well, it was built because it doesn't have those things because it was going to be for volunteers. It was going to be a volunteer warehouse.
Right.
Volunteer warehouse. Volunteer fire station. Okay, but you're telling me.
Volunteer warehouse.
Yeah. So now you're telling me that you spend $1 million essentially on a volunteer building. That doesn't make sense either. Go ahead, Mitchell. I know you're dying to get into this.
And of course, on the paperwork, it does not say fire station anyway.
Right.
It's just a metal building.
Right.
That's what it was built as. Right. And so, I was very critical of the architect and the general contractor, but they actually built the building the way that the county wanted it. And to be honest with you, you cannot have something built one way that's on paperwork and call it something else. That is a total no. That can actually get you kicked off as a county commissioner.
That's correct.
You can lose your position as a county commissioner.
Well, and I'm not knocking the like you said, the contractor built what was put in front of him, there were just a lot of things that added up. They had what? Correct me, because I know you will. 16 change orders.
There was a lot of change orders.
We counted those one time.
I think it's 13 or 16.
When we was really dissecting this. I think it's 16. I think you're right. Mike, does that sound about right?
Yeah. One of them was to put in a generator. So you're designing and building a fire station without a generator. You have to do a change order to add it.
And to be honest, when you look at the fire codes, the National Fire Code now, it doesn't say volunteer fire stations can be built this way and other fire stations have to be built that way. In the code, it says any fire station built from 2003 forward shall have fire sprinklers, fire panel, all those safety precautions put in place. Because why would you not want to get a phone call if your fire station is on fire? And to be honest with you, if you put living quarters in there and a kitchen and everything, what is the number one thing that catches on fire? The kitchen, because they're in a hurry to get out the door to go help somebody else, and someone leaves the burner
on.
Well, I believe that the main reason why it was for a volunteer was because the sleeping quarters were not built. So that's what I think the thinking was. These people go home, they get a phone call, and they rush over there.
Right.
But I mean, like I said, we could go on about some of the other things, but the biggest, another thing is the people, and I live near it, I was told, along with everyone else in the area, that our ISO rating would change, and therefore our property insurance would go down. Yeah. That has never happened. But probably the thing that bugs me the most about the thing is it sat empty for 3 years. You couldn't talk about it. You couldn't do anything else with it. You couldn't come up with hey, let's fix it. We dumped this much money in it, so it's going to take more money. To fix it. But you just leave it there sitting, like maybe people will forget about it or it'll go away or what. I'm not sure why the reason it's sat there.
And that's a great point that you bring up, because you're right. I mean, and I know you heard us hit this particular subject many weeks and many shows. And, I don't know why they left it open, for 3 years. But I'm thinking it's number one is, like you said, they were trying to get the funds up. They knew all this stuff had to be done. They were trying to figure out a way to get the funds to go ahead and do all these upgrades. And or B, like you said, they were hoping just people would forget about it. But the problem is, when you ride by, if you live out there in that particular district and you ride by there and you see that eyesore there each and every day, I mean, somebody's going to bring it up to somebody. So it's not like it was going to be kept underground.
Well, right. And that's exactly right. And particularly when they drive by all the time to see the doors closed.
Yeah.
But now, oddly enough, just a few months ago, the doors are open and there's fire apparatus in there.
Right.
Okay, so they're only there from 9 o'clock in the morning, I believe. I could be off by half an hour, but they're only there in the morning until 5:30 in the evening, and then they have to go to Tharasa. So you got two things happening. You got the Speedville fire station is still not manned at night,
that is
and
correct.
Tharasa is not manned during the day.
Right.
Now, there may be, and you can correct me if there's there might still be a unit in.
I can see so many ways to fix all this, but go ahead.
Okay,
you guys just keep doing your story.
Yeah, but I just want to be accurate. I'm not sure if there is.
We'll work on that when you get down to it. But yeah, keep going.
So, but there's just a lot of things in that, and it's just this really shame that, and we spent that much money on it, where you could have built something. Maybe it should have cost $1 million. I don't know, but certainly not in the state it's in.
Right.
Well, I think one of the biggest problems is that the reason why that project went south, and why we have some other issues going on in the county, is we do not actually have a person that is the facilities director. I mean, I know Jason Dodds. He's doing the best job he can. Mm-hmm. He's got double duty. He's trying to do that job and also doing the road department. But at a time, we really didn't have a facilities director that would know these things, that would help guide the board in the right direction, where they would not have to hire the architect to overlook the project as a project coordinator. I mean, you can legally do that, but it is not a good practice to do that, because at the end of the day, he's only going to look after for himself. He's not going to look after for the county. That's just the way those things work. And so, hopefully, in the near future, I hope we can get a facility director
oversee it all
and department, and they can oversee those projects and stuff out of that department, so they are done correctly.
I'm with you. Yeah. So, so that's kind of the whole thing. And it still amazes me that when I knock on people's door, they say, "Well, we got that new fire." And I'm like, "Where?" I mean, it's not. I understand that there's a building there, but it's just people don't get it. And look, I'm not here to knock anybody, any one person by any means. I mean, every commissioner signed off on every.
That's
change
exactly
order.
right.
So, but it seems to me like somebody should have said, "Well, wait a minute, we didn't have a generator in this thing," and, So anyway, that's kind of my. I could talk a long time about it.
Yeah, and no, you did a great job right there, and that's. I hope we answered your question there. Tom Germano for Bradford County Commissioner, District 4. And he's joining along right here with us. I just want to read a couple of the comments here. And also, if you have a question for Tom, please, address it right here. We don't have our phone lines open tonight, but Tom, if they want to ask you a question privately, where can they go to do that?
Okay, so I have a Facebook site. Number one is Tom Germano for County Commissioner.
Okay.
I have email. You're welcome to use. It's tom@tomgermano.com, and I mean, I'll give people my phone numbers.
Sure, if you're okay.
Yeah, sure. It's 904-382-3890. It's the only phone I have, and you're welcome to call it. I get calls frequently already on it from knocking.
Good, that's good. Dave Holland said, for the last 4 days has been very busy, and today at Harry Business we had an outstanding day. School starts tomorrow. We had 91 people in the shop to get haircuts, and our very own Michael Heater was one of them, and he was great looking haircut, by the way. I went in there on Friday because I knew what kind of day it was going to be today. Dave, when is the preseason game? It is August the 19th. I think Byron told you next Friday. We're going to be going over to Jacksonville. We're going to Providence High School. We're going to play Impact Christian Academy in the first half, and we're going to play Providence in the second half. It's going to be like halves or quarters and a halves that we'll play. So Bradford is going to get a chance to play two teams, display what they have. And if it's anything what they did in that spring game to Oakleaf, Bradford is going to have a very, very good ball club. Benny Jackson's watching. Randy Scoggins. David Thea said, very transparent and approachable team, talking about us, and we appreciate that. Thank you very much, David. I tell you, it's wonderful to hear. Melissa Cribbs is watching. Renee is back on. And who's Bradford? I just got that. And Poppy Malasky said, hey, glad you're running for your community. So, did I pronounce that right? Malski. Yeah. Okay, not Malowski.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bobby's going to go, hey, can't you pronounce my name here? But he said he's glad that you're running, and I'm sure your others are as well. We got the primaries coming up on August 23rd, right?
August 23rd.
Right.
Early voting started yesterday.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So early voting started as well. So make sure your vote counts. I don't care what anybody says. please vote, especially in these county commissioner races, the city commissioner's race. It is very important, Byron, that you go vote, because some of these races, hey, I heard of a race, I think Mitchell was telling me, or Michael, by 6 votes the last time.
Yeah, that's
6 votes. You can't tell me your vote ain't important?
Right.
Give me a break. Hey, 1 of 3 or 6 of those people wouldn't have voted. Not yet at that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So your vote is so very, very important. So please, if you don't do anything else, go out and vote August 23rd and vote for the candidate that you think is going to do the best job for you and your community, your family, and everybody else that is around you. Make sure that you go and vote for the right candidate, because, hey, just to throw a vote out there, Tom, to me, is just a waste of time.
No, I agree with you 100%. But vote who you feel like can do the job and
Right.
can do it right. And, you know, the other thing about it is, if you think about it this way, there's going to be probably a low turnout, you know, because there's not much uptick. Okay?
Correct.
So you got
Right.
the commissioner's school board, and they're open elections. Anybody can vote in, well, school boards and
Right.
nonpartisan. But both commission races, anyone can. In the county commission races, anyone can vote.
Right.
Democrat, Republican,
right.
Independent, doesn't matter.
Right.
And then above it, also you have the Congresswoman, the Congress race, and you have agriculture.
Right.
And I don't think is there any?
Is there anything else? Did we
I
leave
don't
off
think so.
anything, Mike?
You got them all for the primaries.
Yeah.
I was about to say
That's on the Republican
But,
side.
yeah, correct.
So the Democrats now they have a reason to turn out, but
Right.
but the Republicans have less of a reason because they don't feel like there's much up there. But I encourage everyone. I mean, particularly for county commission, this could be the most. We either change the direction where this county's going, or we just keep going down the same path and just doing more of the same, and that just doesn't make sense to me.
And I'm glad you joined us, Tom. And I'm going to go around to each and everybody to see if they have a question for you before we let you go.
Okay.
Mitchell, do you have a question for Tom?
Yes, actually, first of all, I want to thank Tom for something that he helped me do. It's both a group effort of getting some changes done on State Road 121B. And hey,
Yes.
he wasn't even the commissioner then, and neither was I. But we seen that there was an issue there, several car accidents taking place right there at the collection site for trash. And we did have Jason Dodds send out one of his guys from his shop to look at one of our plans to redo the entrance and exit there. And now we got flashing lights, and thank you, Tom, for helping me out with that.
We need a stoplight.
We'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
We got
Baby
the reduced
steps.
speed zone
They
too
got
there,
yeah.
which is a good thing.
Yep, reduce the speed limit there, put the cautions out, which they told us they would do. It just took a long time, and a lot of people don't understand why did it take it so long to get those flashing lights there. Those flashing lights are not cheap.
No.
That was $100,000.
Yeah,
Yes.
and all the stuff in the ground and everything else is the same things they'd use for a stoplight.
Mm-hmm.
It's just they didn't hang one. That's the only difference.
Yep. So pretty much the infrastructure's somewhat
Right.
there
Exactly.
already. So hopefully eventually we'll get a traffic light there. But my question is, impact fees, what you think about them, and do you think we need to go that direction to at least try to generate some kind of tax revenue to help our sheriff's department out, our fire department, and our roads? And I'll let you explain to you, to the viewers how that money kind of works in districts of growth, and it cannot be used in other districts.
Okay, yeah. So let me first say, as was proposed by the commission, I guess it was 2 years now, on a fire assessment fee. An assessment and an impact fee are two completely different things. One is a tax, that's an assessment, and the other is a fee. The assessment is paid every year by all of us. It's tacked onto our property value, based on property value. An impact fee is a one-time fee that is paid by a builder or contractor, whoever's building a home or a business or whatever the case may be.
That's right.
And so that's a one-time fee, and it pays for the impact. It pays for all the infrastructure
Right.
in that district that is placed. So we have tremendous growth going on in the south part of the county. If you ride down Speedville Road, what they call Speedville Road, 8th Avenue, and back up where the golf course, the old part of the golf course was and stuff like that. I mean, I can't tell you how many houses, but I've got to guess there's been at least 100 in that general area.
Right.
And they're planning right now another community in the golf course or next to the golf course. And I think there's 20-something houses going in there. They got 32 going along Speedville Road, and then a gentleman bought a 10-acre lot, and he's going to develop it and have 1 acre house. So there's 10 more houses. Do the math. I don't know what I said it so fast. I didn't have enough.
About 70 houses right there.
Okay, so now you're asking these people in Speedville and around the other area to pay for all this infrastructure that they've lived there for 40 years, and now all of a sudden they have to pay for all these new people to come in. I don't mind the people coming. I understand exactly why they want to live here. Same reason I do. But to ask the people of Speedville, or whether it's off of 50th Street or 51st, around Silver Lake or My Lake or around 21B, to ask them to pay for that is, it's just not right. As a matter of fact, it's silly.
Yeah.
So I say an impact fee would make much more sense. Now, what is that impact fee? We need to look at it and see what it is. I don't think it needs to be something like clay is $16,000 roughly. I'm not suggesting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so I'm not suggesting that. But if we had 100 homes and we charged $5,000 impact fee, and you that rolls into the builder's not going to pay for it. Okay, you're going to pay for it. I understand that.
Building the house is going to pay for it.
Yeah.
That's right. And you wrap that into your loan, and not including the interest, and you put it out 30 years. You're looking at nothing. You're looking at less than $200 a year.
And then what you're talking about in that 1 year when those 100 homes are built, if it's $5,000 and you build 100 homes, that's half the cost of that building.
Yes, it is.
Half of it.
Exactly. $500,000 too.
Just for the 100 homes.
Homes, right
in
there.
that specific area. It's not talking about everywhere else in Bradford County. People say, well, impact fees will scare people away from building here. No, an impact fee will not do that.
I'll tell you what will scare some people off if you say taxes. Well, I think more than an impact fee.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about a $5,000 impact fee, it's not going to scare people off.
No.
It may scare some people off if you go into Clay County and you start saying, I'm going to build a new home, because it sure scared me off from building a new home.
Yeah, $16,000 gets your attention.
That's a lot of money to just so I can build a new home, and I went and found another one on a lake that I like. So that's you're talking about, if that was the case, and let's just say that was the case, just for the sake of argument, over the last year, that's $500,000 we just let slip through our fingers, and we can't get that back now. So this needs to be discussed. I've been told that it specifically that the squeeze wasn't worth the juice. That was the quote that was given to me. Well, in the example was given that, well, if you come on,
it kind of makes you think. If you're in a gallery at a county commissioner meeting and you hear this kind of talk, well, I don't want to hear you poor mouthing that we don't have no money coming in, and then you say in the same breath the squeeze ain't worth the
juice.
Yeah. I mean,
it took me a minute to figure out what the heck was being said, but anyway, the idea was in District 4, that's where all the growth is growing.
Yes, it is.
And has a neighborhood going in.
Yeah.
It's not just down in the southern part, but Hampton's got a neighborhood going in there. And the comparison was, well, in the Northwest, there's not that much building going on. Well, there's not that much impact.
Right.
We got the impact. 8th Avenue, I know I got a question. I don't know how much longer I have, but
you're okay.
But 8th Avenue, I mean, in 21B that goes around, like, it's 21B, and Jason Dodds will tell you, it's and Danny Riddick will probably tell you too, that road needs some work. And 8th Avenue was not built to take that kind of traffic.
No,
I mean, since the Winn-Dixie, it was always used, but more. I think a lot of people at Winn-Dixie's really drawing some people over there, and that's a lot of traffic on that road.
Yeah.
And it's it's just not going to make it. So
All right,
anyway,
do you have a question for Tom?
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
You're good. You're good.
Get me on going.
We talked a little bit about impact fees. Are there any other ways that you have creative ways that you've come up with to raise the revenue that comes into the?
Well, I'd like to draw people to the county. I really would like to give them a reason to come into the county. And one of the things, and this goes back to would not be a phosphate mine.
Right.
That's not going to draw people to live here. That is absolutely. I don't care if they live in the southern part of the county. Aquifers down there, they're not going to be part of that. So I would like to see some sort of ecotourism as well. That where we take advantage of our streams and rivers, and you can't really charge people to use. Maybe if you had a private park or something, but in general, you can't charge people to use it. But you draw people to them. You promote those things. You say, come to our springs, come to our lake. Lake Santa Fe is a huge lake. You can stand to have people come and visit, and we do. We get a lot of people. And we have two big, pretty good sized boat ramps. One of them on the big lake is very large. It's in Alachua County. And then the little lake has a nice sized boat ramp. It gets really crowded. People can't get in it because of the fishing tournaments on Saturday mornings, but
Wednesday nights too.
Yeah, Wednesday nights too. Yeah. We love. Listen,
Wednesday nights.
Sorry, I said it real fast. Sorry, Tom.
No. We sit on our dock and watch those boats coming out there and coming back at dusk. We love that. I wish I had time to fish more. But I would like to see. There's some boat ramps around here that have no parking, and have very little parking. And therefore, the lake is pretty much locked off. And I think that we should provide that to people and draw them into it. There's some beautiful lakes and beautiful rivers.
Yeah, there is. And I was just getting ready to say, this is a beautiful area. And like you said, I don't think it gets promoted enough. Mike, do you have a question for Tom?
So, Tom, one of my responsibilities is, as the county 911 coordinator, I'm in charge of addressing all the new construction and everything that you do.
Yeah.
And one of the areas that we're about to put 280 new addresses into is the RV park. The Keystone RV Park, of course, is expanding off to the north and to the west here. There's been a lot of table talk about the RV park and the impact that it's going to have on the surrounding areas as it relates to transients, the people moving in and out, but also people living in RVs that stay there on a semi-permanent basis, and that could entice others to start living in RVs on private property. What is your take on the RV park, and where do you see it growing in the next 2 to 3 to 4 years? And how does that come into play with the new construction coming in? Do you see any conflict between RV park, the transients, residential areas there versus the permanent structures that are going in along 8th Avenue?
Well, okay, so about the RV park. First of all, it started out as going to be 75 acres and 200 RV slots, and it's grown from there.
Oh, yeah.
And I've heard two different numbers. I was told that there was going to eventually be about 1,000 slots, and then someone just recently told me it was about a little less than 800.
Well, 800 with the new mapping going in now, with the potential of expansion again
to 1,000.
To 1,000. But right now you're looking at 830 lots when it's all said and done. So
there's a lot of concerns about that, and it's not because of the RV park. It is, but it's not because of if there's ever an emergency, if we have a fire like we did in 2007 and people have to evacuate, and that fire didn't quite get that far, but it could have very easily in the swamp of Santa Fe. I don't know how, or a hurricane, I don't know how any of us will be able to evacuate. You have right now one entrance and exit into the park, and they have an emergency exit that, lo and behold, goes right out to 100, just like the regular entrance. So I don't know what good that does. So
now, if you're going to talk evacuations,
please help me, because that scares me.
As the emergency management planner for Bradford County, it is my primary responsibility, along with my director, to make sure that we account for all that one, and we have. The Bradford County Sheriff's Office, the Emergency Management Division, has gone out there and spoken to the residents and those that occupy the properties and advise them on the appropriateness of early planning, early evacuations, what to do in the event of a necessary, whether it be a developing wildfire, whether it be a tropical
Hurricane,
event or
right.
anything like that one. So evacuations, that's an educational thing. Understand that one. I'm more interested in, do you see any, how would you deal with people that are complaining about their RV park growing and any potential impacts to the permanent properties that are being constructed in that same area?
Right. Well, there is impact on that because you're just the fact that there's more traffic. But worrying about people living in RVs, we already have something that says you cannot live in an RV. If you're building a house, you can stay there for I think 6 months and probably get it extended another 6 months. I don't know that I'm so concerned about a bunch of people living in RVs on private property, but we got to catch them too. There's a lot of dirt roads, a lot of people, and I've seen some out there and things like that. So it is certainly a concern, but I don't think that's as much as a concern to me as we have to really keep an eye on the impact that the park is having on everything, not only the neighbors. And I've met some wonderful people at the RV park. But, a lot of people were very concerned on the impact it would have on the swamp. They weren't against an RV park. They were against the location. Right. And there's still a lot of concerns about that location and its proximity to the swamp. And what are they going to do? Have to bring in fill and things like that. So we just want to keep them essentially honest in what they said they're going to do and what they're going to do. So far, I mean, there hasn't been a lot of problems. I've met the owner. I had breakfast with him. He showed me all around the park. There's some very nice buildings in there, and the people I've met are all been great, and they love the area too. Again, I understand why people want to be here. Now, I will tell you that I am right now very much opposed to any talk of moving our waste collection facility. I think there's some ulterior motives going on there. The waste collection facility was there when the RV park, before the RV park was, ever thought of.
That was a hunting club.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
it was a hunting club.
Yeah. So I think that the talk about moving it down into Speedville is a horrible, horrible idea. I think it's bad for the roads again. It's bad for the people in Speedville. It's bad for the people around the lake, increasing the traffic, and not just Santa Fe, but Silver and Paradise and all the other lakes. Traffic's going to be bad enough with all the new homes. That's the last thing we need is a bunch of cars going down there with their trash. You see, it's unavoidable. Things blow out of trucks. Some people don't get there in time. It's closed. They throw their trash there. I see it every day. And I think that number one should be put on hold until the people of the area have a say whether they want it there. There's no real money to be made. I've heard that the county will net $100,000. That's nothing.
Right.
Come on. Now,
moving that from one place to
another. Yeah, after expenses and costs and everything like that, the county will still net. This is the number I've heard is $100,000. I can't tell you that's exactly the amount because that's just what I heard. And I could be off, and I'll admit that now. But still, I don't even know that the EPA would let you build anything. Listen, I was a kid, and I'm sorry to admit this, but I used to look forward to when, in the 60s with my dad, us taking the garbage, man, you throw everything in there, tires, roof shingles.
Into one bin.
One a bin, it was a big hole. Big hole, and it was on fire. And, it was crazy. So, that all needs to be looked at, and we can't rush. That is one thing I absolutely say should be taken off the table till we have a chance to look at it.
I want to ask Michael something,
Go ahead.
and with you, both of you, in regards to what Michael's question about the RV park. And obviously, you're the 911 coordinator, so you know a lot of these areas, and you know them pretty inside and out. Is there a residual of a permanent residency in these RV parks? Because I think that's what you were trying to get to a little bit, because I do know. And again, getting away from your district a minute, KOA Campground has got the same thing.
Same thing. Yeah,
and is that where you were sort of going with this?
Well, no, my question dealt with have you had anybody who doesn't live at the RV park? I'm talking about the permanent residents, the site-built homes or the mobile homes, modular homes in the area, express concern to you about living near an RV resort.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
But
And I was just
you know,
wondering, what was your take on that?
I have, and it's funny. I've had some people say that, I go to the RV park and I play, whatever they play, bingo or cards or whatever. So I think it's a mixed thing about who's whether they want the RV park or not, and people have kind of gotten used to the idea. Okay, it's there. There's still some work that needs to be done around it, but we're willing to help. To do what we can to make those people comfortable as well. And like I said, I met a lot of them. And I really have only met a couple that, just like I do when I'm knocking on doors, that you're like, oops, this is wrong there.
Tom Germano for Bradford County Commissioner, District 4. Just a couple of quick things here. Mike Tierney said, it costs money to build, of course. I've worked construction all my life, and there's change orders. But at least you have a fire department with EMS near your area. You should be happy to have the equipment and help there.
Well,
and I see Michael shaking his head a little bit there. And I
So-
get what he's saying.
Let me just. I was biting my tongue. I didn't want to get into this because it's not my concern. I'm not running for county commissioner on this one. But let me go ahead and little background. As I'm sure you already know, but just so you know.
Yeah.
The Keystone Heights Volunteer Fire Department Incorporated had a volunteer fire station in the city of Keystone Heights.
Yes.
The city of Keystone, or not the city of Keystone, the Volunteer Fire Department, which was separate from the city of Keystone, the volunteers and Clay County had a significant falling out.
Right.
Won't go into that one.
No.
Because I can run with that
Another
one, but
show.
we're not going to. But the offer was, they're kicking out the volunteers, which happens, and they wanted to remain as a volunteer fire department. They came to Bradford and said, hey, you build us a building, we will give you over $1 million worth of fire trucks, hose, air packs, gear, all our volunteers. We will provide a volunteer fire department for this portion of the county. The county was like, this seems to be a no-brainer. All we have to do is build a building. That was the initial plan.
$300,000.
$300,000. That was the initial plan. Was the building the best building to be put in there? No. Was it originally planned to be a paid fire station? No.
Well, it's not.
Just like Theresa was not scheduled to be a paid fire station. Sampson City was not scheduled to be a paid fire station. The only paid fire station in Bradford County is the city of Stark. At the time.
That's correct.
At the time. Fast forward. The county builds the building as specified at the volunteers' request. Then all of a sudden, the volunteers just said, They thumbed their nose at the county. They told them to pack rocks, and they just disappeared.
So basically, we had the bag dropped in our lap.
Yeah. So now the county's like,
what do we do?
We've invested in this volunteer fire station, and the volunteers had just told us to pack rocks. So now they're thinking, well, what can we do to generate interest? What can we do? So they started doing a recruiting of volunteers. They weren't getting the volunteers that were needed.
Right.
At the same time, the prior administration, prior to the sheriff taking over, who was, we won't go into that one either, not appropriate for the assignment that was given to him, and we'll just leave it at that, decided that, well, we don't need volunteers. I and two of my buddies will just run a paid fire station. And then they twisted it around to where it was like, oh, well, we have to have, the building has to be changed up. In order to make these changes, it's going to cost money. So you're right. The plan was faulty, but it's not because of any significant thing. Like you said, the contractors, everyone did it as per the original, because all they were going to do is they were going to house the equipment being donated to Bradford County by the volunteers, which they ended up doing. And some of that equipment is still being used to this day. Fast forward. Now they're trying to figure out, can we make a paid station out of it? So now are we making lemonade out of lemons? Yes. Is Bradford County staffing that building during the day? Yes, they are. By having an ambulance in Theresa and putting a fire engine in Speedville, they are now reducing the response times for medical emergencies and fire responses in the southern portion of the county. So you still have an ambulance that will respond,
Right.
but now I've got a fire engine that's 5, 6, 7 minutes closer to the south end of the county. There's also an automatic aid agreement. Any calls south of Winn-Dixie automatically get Melrose Fire Department responding with them, and in 90% of the time, Melrose arrives before Bradford County does. So they have, again, anyone who knows me and knows my history with Bradford County Fire knows that we're not exactly simpatico, but I have to give credit where credit is due in that they are trying to work out a plan. Will that building eventually become a facility that can house paid people?
I think so.
I believe
think
it
so.
will. But you also have to understand the call load needs to justify the expense. Hilburn Springs is not set up currently to be a paid fire station. That's why there's nobody in Hilburn Springs. But the call load requires the county to go, look, we've got to spend money. If the call load justifies emergency responses in Hilburn Springs, then we probably need to put our paid people there. Then the economy tanks.
Right.
So now they are limited to having Lottie, Sampson City, and Theresa.
Right.
Earlier this afternoon, a house fire broke out in Hampton. The ambulance crew at Sampson City is gone. The ambulance crew around the county is gone. There's nobody there. So the fire engine in Sampson City had to shut down that engine, get on the ambulance to respond to medical calls, and was transporting a patient. The house fire breaks out, so you've got a fire in Hampton, and they're sending Theresa and Lottie.
And Lottie, I was
to
just going
go
to say.
to this to go to this fire. Now, kudos to Lieutenant Cody Johnson, Chief Carter, and the firefighters there because they saved a mobile home coming from a distance. I mean, an incredible response time considering the response that they had to deal with.
Right.
But they are literally making lemonade out of lemons, and I understand exactly where you're coming from. I totally agree with it. But in the grand scheme of things, where do we serve the greater good? Greater good being, the higher taxes coming from the region. Absolutely, should we do something with Speedville? Totally agree with you. That's the reason why the county's making sure that there's some staffing there when available. But you've also got to cover Hampton, Brooker, Graham, and then dealing with the other shortfalls that has come into play with this.
Well, and I understood the history of how it got to that point. I still have the big concern of, and I still don't think an assessment, this me personally, is the best idea because it is taxing those people that are not having as much impact. Now, and I'm not talking about a fire assessment or a road assessment or anything like that. I'm just talking about in general. Mm-hmm. So those folks, don't deserve to have to pay that. But listen, don't think for a second that I think our fire, and we have to pay for the great fire department that we have because we do have a great one. I've had them come. I'm on the board of the Melrose Fire Department, and they've done training. We helped them buy a Zodiac type boat. They actually bought it themselves, but we helped them. People on the lake had helped them fix it up and get the engine running and everything like that. And they come to oftentimes come to my dock and practice off the dock. And I've had a lot of the Bradford people come too, and to practice together, and we let them do their thing. I just warn my neighbors that they're going to see a bunch of fire trucks in my yard. Don't panic. But
you can find a bunch of fire trucks in Michael's yard.
Yeah, I know. So anyway, don't think for a second. I just respect it, and I want them to have the best. I want it to be a great fire station, and I want it to be a proper fire station for them. And there's no way to do it without putting more into it. So we just got to find that.
One thing with a volunteer fireman, the reason why it has dropped off, and Michael can vouch for it, they have to have certifications now.
Yep.
They can't go into a house fire without those certifications like they used to in the past.
Yeah.
And so they were like, well, if I'm going to go to fire college and I'm going to pay to get my certification, I'm not going to work as a
Yeah,
volunteer.
right.
I want to get paid. Yeah, I want to get paid.
And,
Yeah.
and that kind
It
of
is-
hurts the volunteers.
It is tough,
But
and
we
most
do-
of the volunteers in Melrose have, work at other
Right.
fire stations. Probably a lot of them because I think a few of them are up here, and those guys are. I mean, they're very dedicated people too, and they love to put in the hours there.
Absolutely.
And so and it's unfortunate, but as bigger as we grow, it's probably just not as conducive to having a volunteer fire department.
Really quick.
Yeah.
There was a question about taxing the lots.
I was going to get to that. Yeah.
At a tax, there's already a tax on those lots
That there is.
The
Yes.
RV park you're talking about?
Yeah, that county gets. Now, can that be restructured to where some of that can go to help the fire station is one question, but it's already taxed. How much more do you want to add on it to drive people somewhere else? Because sooner or later, if you keep on adding, what's going to happen is they're not going to come here. They're going to go to another location.
Right.
Well, so you brought up something that I forgot to say. And I'm sorry because I'm not going to answer your question, but
You're good. No, you're good.
but when the fire station, when the RV park was first planned and first built, the RV park made a contribution to, and I want to say it was $125,000. I can't remember the exact amount, but it was in that neighborhood to help with the fire station. Okay, that was when they had 200 slots, and now they've got more and they plan more, and I think it's appropriate to go back to them and listen. I don't think that the owner of the RV park would mind one bit if we went back to him and say, "Hey, kick in a little bit more, man, and help us
I'm
out."
sure. Right.
So
The guy has been very dedicated to the area. I mean, he
Yeah.
wants to. He says he loves it here. I see him here a lot. I have no reason to doubt it. And I think that if we went back to him and approached him and said, "Hey, kick in some more money for the safety of your people and all the residents around you," I think he'd do it.
I think you're right. Again, Tom Germano for Bradford County Commissioner, District 4. We've had a great conversation. I hope he's answered a lot of your questions. Want to get to a couple of things here before we let you go.
Okay.
Let's see. Well, I can get that as we're closing out. Give you a couple of minutes to look straight into that camera with that handsome face of yours.
Here we go.
And tell everybody in District 4 why they should vote you as county commissioner.
Okay, thank you. So, for those of you in District 4, like I said, I want to be able to give you a voice in the district. And I don't care if you're in Melrose or the east part of Hampton or up around Griffiths Loop.
Right.
I will be accessible, and I will plan to do some sort of, moving around meetings of some sort at time frames that are acceptable to the people. I think that I have the best interests at heart of our county. I want to do things right. I want to bring revenue to the county. I don't want to cut budgets. I mean, I won't say I never we'll have to cut a budget, but I want to bring revenue to the county. I don't want to raise taxes. As a matter of fact, I signed a pledge with the Republican group, the Greater Melrose Republican Liberty Caucus,
Right.
and told them I would not raise taxes. I know a lot of people, not just around the lake, but also in Hampton, that I think they have started to really rally behind me. So, and I also want to say one other thing is I don't have anything personal against anyone else running. Danny Rarick has served our county for 12 years. I think that's a commendable thing
Sure.
for somebody to do that, to put themselves out there for 12 years. We don't agree on everything. He doesn't agree with me on, and I don't agree with him on everything. But I respect Danny, and I just happen to think that it's after 12 years, it's a time for a change, and I think I could be a good commissioner, a better commissioner.
And that's a great answer. Again, Tom, one more time, where can people reach at if they want?
So Tom Germano for County Commissioner on Facebook. Tom at tomgermano.com. It's my email. Or 904-382-3699. 3890.
All right, there you go, and you're getting some good lucks there. And,
Thank you. I appreciate that.
They appreciate the job that you're doing.
You guys have been great.
Hey, man, we appreciate you, Tom.
Very nice.
Yeah, it was good.
Nice to see you.
Anyway, that was a great job. Great questions. We hope we answered them all. If not, you heard when you can get a hold of him at August 23rd. Don't forget the primaries right there. I'm sure he would love to have you vote. I tell you what. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and we'll be right back about a couple of things before we close the show out. We'll be right back.
Hey, Tornado fans, this is Kurt Miracle of Miracle Automotive and Towing, proud sponsors of Tornado Football. I want to welcome you to beautiful Stark, Florida at David Hurst Stadium, and thank you for letting us be a part of this community. We're here for more than your automotive and towing needs. We're here to be part of Tornado Country. Go Big Red!
Hey, back to the show right here. Tom Germano was on the show with us here, our very special guest running for Bradford County Commissioner District 4. Had a lot of great points, Byron. Talked really in depth about his district and his area. So I wish him well as the primaries come up.
Oh, absolutely.
I know we've got several things. I want to go over a couple of comments that doesn't necessarily reflect what we were talking about. But I know you wanted to hit on a couple of things. We've got just a few minutes here, unless you want to tape it off, because I really got one thing I want to discuss. Well, do you want to mention what we were talking about? Because I know
briefly, because I can get into what I'm about to say. Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Another 2 hours.
Another 2 hours. Michael's got to get on the road.
There is a couple of things that have happened this week. One of them, our Congresswoman Kat Cammack has put out a video about, and that is the fact that they have redone the Build Back Better bill. They're not calling that anymore. And some of the things that are in it are going to do the utter opposite of what they're saying it will do, which is help with our bad problem right now with our economy. It's not going to do anything to reduce. It's not going to do anything to reduce. They're spending $1 trillion. They're spending $1.1 trillion at it. The other thing that they're doing is they're going to spend even more money than that in the long run because they're adding 87,000 new IRS agents. Why do we need 87,000 IRS agents? We don't.
No.
There's one answer to that. And I don't want to go any further than that with it because I'll get into it next Tuesday.
Okay.
Take a look at this. It's not going to really matter unless you really get into the ears of the Democrats, and you're a Democrat and you're listening to this, and tell them no, not to pass this, because this bill went through the Senate. It's got to go back to the Congress, the House, and the House has to vote on it, and then it'll go to the President's desk because of the way this bill was done. So if you don't, you need to read it because there's some nonsense in it. Talk to your representatives. Tell them to vote no for this, whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, so they don't pass this nonsense. Second, they raided the FBI raided a president's home. They're not telling anybody what's on that warrant because there's 20 things on that warrant. They are fishing. Donald Trump knows what's on that warrant. He's not telling anybody because guess what? If he tells them things like sedition are on that warrant, or seditious acts, or any of the other nonsense that they listed on that warrant, then part of the media will have a field day with that. So you're going to get two different sides. They're fishing, and oh my God, look, Trump's a traitor, with silliness. So they did not allow Donald Trump, part of his due process with this, they did not allow his lawyers to be there. And guess what? He wasn't there either. They timed this to where he was not home. Mm-hmm. They broke into they had a safe breaker go into his home and break into his personal safe. And what I heard they found there, they did not like. Because guess what? It was pictures of Hunter Biden doing his thing. Just kidding, guys. But in all
I knew we had to play that off.
In all seriousness,
Yeah.
you're going to raid an ex-president's home while he's not there and he doesn't have any representation there? That is about as un-American as it can possibly get. And I'm hearing things, and we'll get further into this, from lawyers on certain TV stations saying, well, if the president did this, that, and the other, he's violated, and I cannot remember what act it says, but it talks about destroying or maiming or keeping in the wrong place any government document. And how the fact that statute will not let him run again. Well, guess what? Those people are morons. Because, and I'll call him I will call the lawyer that's running around on CNN a moron to his face. Because the Supreme Court has already decided this in 2 separate cases. They cannot stop a person from running for any elected office in our federal government, that's Congress, Senator, or the President of the United States, unless they don't qualify under what's under the Constitution of the United States. So please, people, don't believe anything about what is going on until we figure out exactly what has happened to this. They are going to make this into an utter circus because they don't want Donald Trump to run again because they don't like Donald Trump.
Just out of curiosity, Byron, why don't you give us a little bit of background about Florida Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart, the one who signed the orders to
Bruce,
he would be. Is he not the one who was involved in the Epstein case? And
yes, he was.
Served during the Obama administration?
He most certainly was. What we're doing is the same thing. That guess who else did this? Barack Obama did this.
Mm-hmm.
Barack Obama had the FBI raid certain people's businesses. Barack Obama had the IRS come after conservatives. Barack Obama allowed Hillary Clinton and the DNC to wiretap Trump Towers before he was actually the actual primary candidate in the presidency. And the list goes on and on and on and on and on from these abuses. It is an abuse of power. American citizens, it doesn't matter whether you're in our government or not, because you're an American citizens, have rights, and they abuse them. They're using parts of our government. They're basically arming them and militarizing them against private citizens, and it's got to stop. You're going to have a bad problem. There were already thousands of people at Mar-a-Lago. You're going to keep on with this until you have an incident. Mm-hmm. The American public is getting really tired of it. If I was Donald Trump, and I think you poked the bear because he had a response to it, and it was a really good one if you haven't seen it, and you can look on my Facebook because it's public. They poked the bear, he responded to it, coming back.
Oh, yeah.
If he wasn't 100% sure he was going to run again, I guarantee you this made him want to. Republicans, all I can tell you is this. Coming from somebody who is a registered Republican, I consider myself a true Republican. What I really consider myself is a constitutionalist. Coming from a person who is of your party, when he is elected, the next president, because he will if he runs again. After the last 2 years, I have no doubt of that. And the Republicans, once again, have a majority in the House and the Senate, because that's coming too because of what's going on with the condition of our country. Mm-hmm. If you don't take down the people that are responsible for the actions that are going on right now, we will never truly have a republic. The other party that is doing this will always arm certain bodies and offices and come after us. And there's going to be a point in the time when the American public lose trust in you too. And when they do that, there is going to be a very bad issue. Because there are still a lot of us that believe everything that is in the Declaration of Independence. And that party that's in power right now is doing the same things that King George did to the 13 colonies. Some of them.
Byron, here's my thing on this whole thing. And very, very good breakdown, by the way. Here's my thing. Nobody from the Trump administration, nobody from the Trump family, not even his lawyers, were anywhere near his home when these feds went in there and raided this home. My question, do you disagree?
No, there was at least one Trump attorney that was present.
That was allowed to go in there?
According to Politico.
According to what I've heard, there was none.
There was at least one lawyer there, but he was not allowed to watch what they were doing.
Watch what was going on.
He was told no, he could not. And if Politico is reporting,
all right, even if there's one, all these files, all these documents are coming out of this home. Who's to say, and who was there to watch, that there was no tampering with any of that coming out of this man's home?
All you got to do is plant a document.
That's all you got to do. I would not put it past.
I do not put it past any party that would create the Steele dossier.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And that's what my concern is of this whole thing.
You created that, and you tried to railroad him to begin with.
Yeah. Okay, so we're going to table that off. We're getting close to show's end. Mike's coming with that particular thing to make sure we said that right. Austin, quick weather report, sir, please. Oh, you got something?
Yeah, just real quick here,
okay.
just so we know here, like that one.
Okay.
Trump lawyer Christine Bobb fleshed out other details surrounding the case. She did indicate and confirm that Florida Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart did sign off on the warrant that allowed FBI agents to search the residence in Florida. They searched multiple areas of the property, according to Politico, but could not verify where materials were confiscated from. Approximately 10 to 12 boxes of materials were removed from the property. Lindsay Halligan, another Trump attorney, also confirmed to Politico that she was present at Mar-a-Lago for the search.
Now,
present.
Right. That doesn't mean she was active.
Correct. It just said she was present.
That was my understanding. There was lawyers there, but they were
sorry about that.
That I could not confirm where it come from.
I couldn't either. Now I'm glad Mike did that.
I'm not talking about cannot confirm where he said they could not confirm where those documents come from in there. Means those lawyers were not allowed to watch what the FBI agents were doing.
Correct.
And at that point, I don't care what comes out because I don't trust the party that's in power. Because they proved the Steele dossier they could not be trusted. Period. They've proven more ways than one they can't be trusted. But that in itself, because they'll manufacture a document and try to frame somebody with it, should be enough for the American public not to trust anything. Mm-hmm. And that's whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or anybody else. Your party did that.
Austin, great job, Byron.
All right, first tropics. Over the next 40 hours, 20% on our disturbance over in the east central Atlantic Ocean. 30% over the next 5 days. It will move into unfavorable conditions. Wind shear is probably going to destroy it, so it's going to head into that graveyard as a weak low. Our local area, cold front. Yes, I said it. Will sweep across the United States, cooling down places up north, including relieving Kentucky from that massive, horrific flood and clearing out the weather, so they'll have some dry days. And down here, typical showers and thunderstorms, 60 to 70%. Temperatures will fall from our mid-90s with heat index values up to 108 through Thursday into the mid to upper 80s by Sunday, then back into the lower 90s with a typical summer pattern. Back to you, David.
Thank you very much for that great weather report. I want to thank everybody on the show tonight. Everybody had some great information. I want to read just a couple of things real quick. Yes, I will mention it. Food pantry, clothing closet this Saturday, opening at 9 a.m. to around noon, about 3 hours worth. That's at Praise Christian Assembly Church, 10813 Southwest County Road 18 in Hampton, Florida, 32044. You can see Kenneth Crawford or get a hold of Kenneth Crawford for more information. Rachel Laycock said, thank you for including my precious niece in your podcast. She is waiting for us to raise the rest of the funds so we can bury her. Thank you so much for your support and all support we receive from Bradford County. You're quite welcome. And like I said, our prayers and condolences go to you and your family. And like I said, if there's anything that we can do, absolutely we're going to do it.
And again, as a reminder for those of you, after you get done watching the show tonight, go back to our Facebook page, scroll back for this morning, earlier today, the GoFundMe information was posted to our page already. You can click on that link and make a financial contribution. Again, and Mitchell Gunner, of course, will have some additional details tomorrow on the Motorsports with David Rodgers regarding a car show that he and the sheriff are working on putting together as a fundraiser as well.
That's exactly right. And again, Renee Stegall-Shaw, you're exactly right. I don't even have to read that. And David Theus, you're exactly right, too. You could ask that question, but I do.
Really quick, I wanted to respond to David. David, I don't know that he necessarily has anything on them. They hate that man so much they are willing to commit crimes to keep him out of office because he's not one of them.
If I'm not mistaken, those are hate crimes. Yep.
Well, I mean, how can you create documents to railroad somebody and nothing ever happened to you? And that was the DNC. The DNC funded that through the Hillary Clinton campaign, through Fusion GPS, and then through Steele, Michael Steele. You can follow the money right up the chain to the Democrat National Party, and they paid nothing for that. Nothing. The whole entire party is duplicit in that.
Exactly right.
They need to be held accountable for that.
Well, can we start? Well, we ain't got enough time because I can start breaking down individual things that we can start going everybody after. Maybe we'll do that next Tuesday. You know what I'm not talking about, right?
Absolutely.
I got about 10 of them that we can do. I just want to say one thing. Y'all guys all here, we've all been part of this show. Michael now, Byron, Mitchell, 4 years now, 4 years plus.
Has it really?
And it has. It really has. And I really can't. This started off 5 years ago, just doing little lives, and it's become into this. And I want to thank everybody that's a loyal fan and a loyal viewer for watching our show. And I'm getting to something really quick here, and I'm not going to take too much time on it. We'll get into it later. Actually, me and Byron talked about this a little bit today. We have never, ever said that you can never come on this show, whether you're a Republican, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're MPA. We've always put out the invitation that you could come on this show and talk about what you want to talk about and not get railroaded one way or the other. We are not those type of people. We also said that, hey, when we bring on political candidates and people running for office, we don't say that we're backing any in particular person. We give that person their say, and we give that person their right airtime. If you want to debate or if you want to call somebody out, you should do it at a debate format. This show is not for that. This show is for our viewers to learn about people, to learn about candidates, especially when it's about election time. And if you want to start, and I'm not calling anybody's name out here, if you want to start calling people and saying that they're committing treason, this and that, I've just got one thing for you. Make sure when you do that, make sure you know what treason means. And that's all I'm going to say to that. That's all I'm going to say to that. Look,
can I say something to that?
No, sir. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there. I'm going to leave it right there because we talked about this because I'll explode if you do say it. I'm not going to explode.
We'll.
Oh, what do we got there? Mitchell, you're pointing at something there.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Wants to promote himself.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, of course. And I was going to promote him too, but I wanted to finish this really quick. So, look up the word treason, and when you start sending people emails and texts and things like that and accuse them of things, make sure you know what you're talking about. Make sure you can spell your words correctly, by the way, when you do that. And also, make sure you know the person that you're saying that to, because I will, for myself, I've got 20 years of military service. I love this country as much as this man does, that man does, or anybody in this room, or anybody in this county does. So make sure you watch what you're saying. And like I said, I'm not calling anybody's name out. Watch what you're saying, because I'm telling you right now, we don't put up with that. I won't even ever say your name or promote you anymore if you keep doing that to some individuals that are in this room. And I'm going to leave it at that. On the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers, host
I'm biting blood out of my tongue.
because I was when you was going to do that, I was just going to jump like the lion. He wanted to jump like the lion too, and this is not the right time. We will on the Spot Motorsports with David Rodgers tomorrow night, right, Mitchell?
That's right.
Go ahead.
We're going to have guest Troy Coughlin Jr. that races Pro Stock. He actually 2 weeks ago picked up his first NHRA career win. We're going to have him the next following week. It looks like we're going to have Courtney Anders. That's Erica Anders' sister. She works with the PDRA and also Flow Racing. And we've got some other guests that are lining up as well. And as soon as we get all the details ironed out, we will start making event pages for those.
That's awesome news again, Mitchell. Thank you for what you did tonight for us, filling in for the Dancing Destroyer. Thank you, Austin, for being in the studio with us tonight. I want to thank our special guest, Tom Germano. I want to thank Michael Heater for everything that he does. By the way, have a nice vacation, brother. I know you and Mama's going to go down south for a little bit and hang out. Mitchell just kept...
That's what
exploding soap on
That's what I was trying to keep myself from busting out.
David, you don't know how much I really wanted to, because if Byron would have said that, I would have, and we'd have went on another hour and a half. I'm telling you, at very minimum.
Well,
so, and then Renee Steve all start the same thing.
I never mind. I'll stop.
Come here, I love you. Come here, I love you.
Stop.
On behalf of all us guys, thank you very much. We'll be back next Tuesday night. Do we have any? Oh, yes, we do. We are going to interview one of our very own.
Who?
He's running for office. Yeah, city commissioner, District 1.
When did you start running for city
commissioner? Yeah, when did you start running for?
I'm sorry.
It's you, by the way.
I'm sorry.
Michael's going to sit in the seat. Michael's going to sit in the seat. He's going to have the hot seat. We're going to ask him questions. We'll talk about what why he's running, what he wants to do in his district if he is elected, and be ready, Mike. So I've called you out.
All right.
Here we go. So bring it on, he said. God bless you guys. Thank you. Have a great night. Have a great week. Have a great weekend. We love each and every one of you. God bless you. Take care.
God bless the USA.
Hey,
God bless the USA.
It's still the best country in the world. Hey, I don't care what we got going on.
Oh yeah. And I hope you like the plaster cast mold that you found in Donald Trump's.
Yeah. Good night.